What do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror? This week, in the name of science, I decided to see if cookies could kill a person, as they may have been what was used to poison Ben Glenroy. I ordered some Smackery chocolate chip cookies to test this theory out, and I can happily report my first bite caused as loud a sound as Ben Glenroy had at the table read. I did almost die of sweetness. Now, there was only one problem with doing this test. Smackery's cookies, the smallest order you can get delivered, is 6 cookies. And let me tell you, these cookies are sweet. Even though Double PHQ podcast guest Nephew Paul helped me eat the cookies, after devouring so many cookies, I looked myself in the mirror and I called myself oh no. Poor Ben. Did Ben write an ugly name on his mirror because he ate or he wanted to eat a delicious sweet treat that was off limits on the Cobro diet? Does the handwriting on the mirror match the handwriting on the note that came with each hanky? Now, in our episode 2 video, we questioned if a big star like Ben Glenroy would personally write notes or if he would leave that to his assistant, Brother Dickie. Would Dickie have written that cruel thing on his brother's mirror? Now, if you like crazy theories, in the Pickwick Triplet song, Charles, when he's going into the White Room, he sang out the pig F word in his diatribe. Did Charles write it on the mirror? Okay, probably not. But with so many theories, we're left with multiple mysteries. Let's solve Only Murders in the Building, Season 3, Episode 4, The White Room. We'll be breaking down each episode for clues, suspects, and red herrings on the hunt to learn who killed Ben Glenroy. Charles's stage fright reaches unimaginable heights involving a break from reality and multiple baby dolls. Mabel is confronted by a mysterious individual from her past with a pivotal proposal. At the very end of this podcast, after I read your feedback, we'll review the results from our latest poll on who you think killed Ben Glenroy. Spoilers up through Season 3, Episode 4 of Only Murders in the Building. If you haven't seen all 23 episodes, pause this video, take the day, find a priest, pray it out, and then come back and watch this video. Use the timestamps below to jump to the topic or suspect that you want to hear about, and skip past the stuff you don't want to hear. We love to begin with the double C credit clues. This week, we're going to the White Room. Heck, the Arconia is almost all white rooms. Here's a mystery that's not hard to solve. I'm going to ask you, if you're watching on YouTube, to blank and blank and blank. That's right, subscribe, leave a comment, and like the video. The way the YouTube algorithm is, it's no mystery. I need you to do all 3, or else the YouTube gods hate us. Hey, if you're on audio podcast, make sure you've subscribed there as well, and if you can, leave a review. Before we run down the suspects, let's see what episode 4 taught us about the victim, actor Ben Glenroy. Ben was unwilling to become an official spokesperson for Kimber's anti-aging serum. Is there any way this could have been official? And how did manager Dickie feel about this? In perhaps a line to support the twins/triplets theory, Kimber says Ben wasn't easy, yet he could also be sweet. He supported female entrepreneurs until he didn't. It's like Ben had 2 different personalities, 2 different people. Now, the opening night, Ben was hard on himself. He was panicking about a red mark on his face. He called in someone to help him out with the red mark. Who helped him solve this problem? Another person, like a makeup artist like Joy, or a twin? We keep mentioning the twin/triplets theory. Watch our previous videos if you haven't heard it. But note, in the play Death Rattle Dazzle, there are 3 homicidal babies. 2 of those babies are identical, and 1 is unique. Now, before we run down the suspects, let's do something different this week and look at all the mysteries that we're going to want to solve. Who stole the mangoes? That person is probably the same person who put the pastries or the cookies or the sweets, whatever they were, in Ben's dressing room. Third question, were those sweets poisoned? Fourth question, why did Ben have Joy's lipstick? Fifth question, did Ben, or a Ben twin, die at the start of Death Rattle? Sixth question, is the person on the stretcher with the oxygen mask, is that a twin or the person who collapsed on the stage? 7th, is it Ben or a twin who showed up at the party in Oliver's apartment? 8, who killed Ben or both Bens? 9, We may not get to solve this one, but which of the Pickwick triplets did it? What other questions are we missing? If you're on YouTube, go down in the comments and let us know. Otherwise, you can hit us up at DoublePHQ on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/DoublePHQ. We're now on Threads at DoublePHQ. You can email us hello@DoublePmedia.com. What mysteries do we need solved? Now let's look at the suspects. And we got a new suspect this week, Ben 2. If Ben has or had an identical twin, they could have committed any of those crimes mentioned above. For example, if one twin wanted to be the actor on stage for Death Rattle's opening night, he could have poisoned his identical brother. Now, I know some of you don't like the twin theory, and it is just a theory. We have no proof other than a possible continuity error. But let's say this. If there were identical twin Bens, and they're both dead, where's the body of the second Ben? In the Cobro statue? Dickie, Ben's brother and assistant. Dickie's not in this episode, but with the updated plot of Death Rattle Dazzle, it looks like the finger is being pointed at these infants being the killer. Oliver's direction to Charles is to point out that the 3 children are homicidal. And Charles's song keeps asking, which of the Pickwick triplets did it? It took me multiple takes to say Pickwick triplets. So let's try this. Which of the Pickwick triplets did it? Who of the crew could commit this crime? Might a little brat make a mommy go splat? It's a pretty good story. It's a story pretty gory or a nurse. It's a story pretty gory for a nursery rhyme. Which of the Pickwick triplets did it? Which little putz had the guts to kill? As a forensic pediatrician, I'll complete this inquisition. I will name the neonatal from the cradle that proved fatal. I will find the perpetrator that did murder to their maker. Cuckoo, cuckoo, time for you to admit it. So quick as a whip. Gotta pick which of the Pickwick triplets did it. Oh my God. Okay, now look at those Pickwick triplet dolls. 2 are identical, 1 looks different. Is Dickie the odd child out? Is he as homicidal as the other 2? Kimber, one of the few cast members of Death Rattle Dazzle who can sing. Kimber sells her anti-aging serum, Vaseline and club soda, to all her fans. Kimber also has made herself a key to the Gooseberry Theater. Kimber is very defensive. She is not happy when Maura suggests a romance between her and Ben. She was so upset with Ben not being a spokesperson for the anti-aging serum, she sold his hanky on eBay. Bobo! We finally get some details on Bobo. He went to the White Room on stage back in 2014 when he was doing the play As You Like It in Wilmington, and he might have exposed himself on stage. Bobo, no. Howard Morris. Lying about a therapist is one thing, but constantly acting as a shill for State Farm Insurance, that's shameful, Howard. Shameful. Howard works for Oliver, but he doesn't always listen to his director. He has a key to the theater. Oh, come on, don't make me do this Only Murders in the Building. Don't make me look at Howard as a serious suspect for yet another year. Joy. Joy has moved into Charles's place. She's brought her 62 fish and a fun fish tank. Joy and Charles met 35 years ago. That would make it the year 1988, or about 7 years after Ben auditioned for the show Brazos and was going to be a series regular until he was fired at the table read. I am not a relationship expert. Do you believe Joy was being supportive when she told Charles that, hey, doing it with that omelet isn't important, I'm the omelet? She was pretty strict with Ben Glenroy. She warned him against messing with a single hair on Charles's head. Joy accepts Charles's marriage proposal. Do you guys think that Charles will marry Joy? Do you want him to? Welcome back, Cinda Canning. You're blonde. Cinda loves murder, and she wants to do the Bloody Mabel podcast, presented by Cinda Canning. Cinda is offering big bucks. Should Bloody Mabel take this cash? Charles Hayden Savage. Charles broke his leg on Brazos Season 4. We noted in one of Charles's White Room episodes, he does say Pig F. A version of that was written on Ben's dressing room mirror. Could Charles have killed Ben in one of his White Room crazy sessions? Mabel Maura. Old lady energy Mabel is looking for a new place, and she's looking at studio apartments in Manhattan. Right after college, I stayed in a 540-foot studio in Chicago between Oz Park and the zoo. It was great. Studios aren't so bad. They just encourage you to get out of the house, which is wonderful. Now, despite helping solve 2 murders, Mabel is still bad undercover. She's got to clean this up if she's going to solve who killed Ben Glenroy. Before we get to the poll results of who you think killed Ben Glenroy, let me read some of the feedback we got this week. From a user with the handle, "Hiya, I'm George," wrote, "KT, the stage manager, got a hanky. This is important. That hanky was in the Arconia." Ooh, good point, George. Bex wrote, "Okay, so I said to my mom that Ben was twins, and so I just want to make sure it's true so that I can brag. We're trying, Bex. These tattoos imply he's a twin." Luca wrote, "If Ben actually did have identical twin siblings and they're pulling a parent trap on the other actors in Death Rattle, I swear I'll cook my hat and eat it." Luca, go to the Pickle Diner. They have things that taste better than hat. Not the number 14, but other things are good. Jackie wrote, "If you look at the season promos, it looks like there are going to be a lot of accidents taking place backstage. There are shots of Charles being locked in a room, sandbags falling. I wonder if Oliver's splash disaster was not an accident." Ooh, Jackie. Do you think Donna is always hiring Oliver because he'll make flops? Carrie wrote, "Someone else mentioned somewhere that maybe it was really Zaz who fired Ben when he was 8 years old." Carrie continues, "Because it's weird that Charles remembers almost everything from Brazos, but not firing a child. It got me thinking, what if Zaz is the one who fired him? And maybe Zaz is the her that Charles told Ben to stay away from." Chandri wrote, "If they are ending Only Murders in the Building after this season, then Mabel should be the killer because she's so lonely. She would do anything to get the podcast crew back together, so she murdered both Bens." Crystal wrote, "Ben has a triplet, but 2 of the triplets are identical and 1 isn't. It's different. Maybe even one of the triplets is a different sex. The scene in episode 3 with Loretta singing, you see 2 of the baby dolls match, but 1 is different." Joy wrote, "I'm also still wondering about Mabel's aunt, who owns the apartment in the Arconia. She might be one of the long game plots that producer John Hoffman mentioned in an interview, that there's a long game. They think Mabel's aunt is the long game." Hello Kitchen wrote, "If a twin brother did exist, then I would assume both versions of Ben died on that opening night. One got poisoned, one was pushed down the elevator shaft." Ooh, hello Kitchen, that could be what it is. How do you get rid of one body and not let everybody know? And how could Dickie keep up a brave face if he did lose 2 brothers in one night? Youch. Okay, now let's go to a poll result. If you're not listening to this on YouTube, on the YouTube community page, I put up a poll. I said, okay, who killed Ben Glenroy? Now, there are currently only 250 votes, so if you want to vote, go to the YouTube community page, vote in the poll. Who do you think did it? Believe it or not, the leader right now, with 30% of the vote, is Donna and Cliff, the producers. Taubert, currently in second place, just below them at 27. Other, meaning somebody other than these people, is in third place with 23%. And if you go into the comments and look, Dickie seems to be the leader in the other category. And finally, Loretta, Meryl Streep, the biggest actress in the show. Only 20% of these respondents think Loretta killed Ben Glenroy. We got a lot of episodes to go. You know what we need. We need you to subscribe. Every video, like and comment. Every podcast, please leave a written review. We'll be back next week for episode 5, Ah Love, on Let's Solve Only Murders in the Building.